So today we'll be taking around a city that I always have a great time in, Seattle. I previously made a video titled 24 Hours in Buenos Aires, and so today we'll be walking around the city of Seattle to see how much I can see and do in just one day. But unlike Buenos Aires, I have been to Seattle before, but it's been a few years, so I'm excited to see how much the city has changed and revisit some of the things that I have enjoyed doing in the past. Arriving at the city and starting the morning off, I could tell it would be a great day. Immediately, the few people I saw on the street seemed to be in high spirits. I even saw this man feeding pigeons, which was definitely a sight to behold. He looked so happy, it was almost infectious. Finally arriving to Pike Place and walking in, I was so excited because one thing about me is I love any public market or street market, and Pike Place really is one of the best in my opinion. Pike Place is actually the 33rd most visited attraction in the whole world. Founded in 1907, this is one of the US's largest and oldest continuously operating public markets. Most public markets in the US are unfortunately seasonal, closing mid-fall and reopening mid-spring. But Pike Place stays open all year round, allowing small businesses and farmers to continue making a profit and sell goods all year round. After walking around the front, we were tempted by these pastries and we decided to get a few. And they were so good. We decided to eat them by the waterfront, watching the seagulls fly over Puget Sound. We were then greeted by a few of them who wanted us to share. And after making friends with a few of the locals and talking to them for a bit, we decided it was time to head back into the market and look around. The market is very iconic. I've seen it showed in so many movies and TV shows I can't even count. I was so excited the first time I came here, and it was such a good experience. I can spend hours here looking at all the stalls, crafts, and flowers. Even after coming here so many times, the novelty has definitely not worn off, and after spending a while walking around the front, we set our sights on the lower half of the market. Heading down the stairs and into the alley, we made our way toward our next destination. So we just walked maybe like 2 streets up from the market, and like immediately you're just like enveloped with these huge, beautiful buildings. It's so crazy. It does feel like a very cohesive like merger between the riverfront and this like downtown area, which I suppose is what a good city should feel like, very cohesive, like everything goes together perfectly. Seattle is widely known as the coffee capital of the United States, and it's no wonder why, since it houses over 1,600 cafes. Seattle even ranked #1 for most affordable high-quality coffee shops. Cafes are some of the only places to go in winter months since it's often too rainy to be outside. So to be able to afford a coffee and sit in a warm environment may not seem like a lot, but it really is. So right now I'm outside of More Coffee, located in the More Theater. It is a family-owned cafe known for its beautiful latte art. It's actually insane what they're able to do with foam. So let's go in and see. I find that each city kind of has its own coffee culture, and it seems that Seattle cafes really pride themselves in creating a good cup of coffee. And at More Coffee, they really make art in a cup. It's a little lamb. I'm so excited. I feel bad ruining it. It's too pretty, almost. The coffee was so good, and it felt great to have a much-needed rest after the morning walk. Was that a video? Yeah. After coffee, we decided to hop on the Seattle monorail, which is an electric train that travels above the city. As many of you know, I love public transportation, and the views from the monorail are amazing. It sadly only has 2 stops though, the Westlake Mall and the Space Needle. Stepping off the train, we made our way into the park and decided to head toward the Space Needle. So the Space Needle is most obviously the most famous and iconic monument of the city, but what I find interesting is that it was never commissioned or owned by the city it was built for. So Edward Carleton, the organizer of the 1962 World's Fair, got the idea to erect a tower with the restaurant on the top of it after a trip to Stuttgart, Germany, and after seeing their tower, he sketched his original design for the tower on a napkin. The tower is 138 feet tall and houses a cafe and restaurant at the top, and if you're ever in the city, I definitely recommend going up. because how many times are you going to be able to have a coffee or a meal at 138 feet in the air? It is honestly a very nice day today. There's like nobody here. Everything we've been to has been like super slow. At Pike Place, there was almost nobody there. This park is usually full of people, but there's nobody here. It is the middle of the week in January, so that might be why, but it's beautiful. This fountain that we're coming up to right now is really cool. It has like this metal dome, and so when it rains or fountain is turned on and the water hits it, it plays like a beautiful melody. I just checked the time and it's only 12:30. It's crazy. It feels like we've been here so much longer than we actually have. We've already done and seen so much, and there's still so much left to do and so many hours of the day left. So exciting. Right now we're walking to this really cool playground that I've been to one time before, but last time I was here there was like a really creepy guy here. So here's the playground, and then there's this really cool thing, museum. I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm going up. I think you have to climb up this. So I just made it up to the top, and it's honestly very spooky. Look. Oh my gosh. I'm a little scared. Ooh, it's a little scary. Okay, I'm gonna go down the slide. So I'm in that cycle again of working nonstop for months so that I can save and then take months off to travel and spend basically everything I save. And I've been doing that for years, working multiple jobs, not doing anything, so that I can have the freedom to do stuff like this. And it's a privilege to be able to do that, I know, to take months off work, and it's a privilege to be able to save it all. And the more of the world I see, the more people I meet, the more I understand that it's a hard world we live in. But at the same time, the more people I meet and talk to, the more I want to understand it. And the more I want connection, the more I want to learn. And it's times like this that I think make the hard parts of my life a little less lonely. It's the days I spend exploring a new city that make the weeks of grueling work seem like a distant memory. And the more I'm on social media, the more I wish I could see the things I'm going through represented honestly. It seems like half the people on social media are sharing a life that is not real. I want to make things that inspire people and help people learn and grow. I want to create discourse and spark discussions, but at the same time, I don't want to ignore the realities of the world that we are all living in. I don't want to make things just to make them. So we just went to Ghost Note Coffee over there. I couldn't really talk inside because it was very quiet, but the coffee was exceptional. It was so good. The best one I've had today for sure. And when I tasted my coffee, I was genuinely like shocked with how good it was. Like I almost couldn't believe it. And listen, Seattle is most definitely a beautiful city, but what shocked me is the more of it I see, the more I notice how few people there seem to be around town. With a metro area of 3 million, you'd think there would be many people sitting in parks or cafes, but no. It seems there was only tourists, and I wonder what that says not only about Seattle, but the US in general. This seems to be consistent in all cities I visit here. There are almost never people in public spaces. If people are at a cafe, it's not to talk, it's to work. Even in a place like Seattle, it seems few residents have time to enjoy the beauty of the city they live in. I'm aware it's the middle of the week, but even in a Latin American country, you can still find people in a park or in a cafe chatting on their lunch breaks. I'm of course grateful to be here enjoying the city, but the aura of loneliness is not lost on me, and it's this lack of community that so many people, including myself, are definitely feeling right now. After talking during lunch, we decided to visit a very interesting site, Gasworks Park. And the park is very cool because it contains remnants of the sole remaining coal gasification plant in the United States. The plant operated and supplied the city with gas from 1906 to 1956 and was later bought by the city of Seattle in 1962. After its purchase, the site was a toxic, inhospitable wasteland pretty much, and then it went on to become the first post-industrial landscape to be transformed into a park. The park to me is so interesting because it shows how we can use antiquated technology that is bad for the environment and repurpose it in a meaningful way. The park to me is a reminder of all of the bad that coal and gas do for the environment and how this place would not exist if the plant were still open. I love this park, and it has beautiful views of Lake Union. Lake Union sort of divides the city in half, and it also doubles as an airport. I've actually seen a plane land here before. It's super interesting. And you can even see the Space Needle from here. While the view is beautiful and the green space that was once toxic gives me hope, it is still unfortunate to see a wonderful place so empty. After spending a while watching and walking, we noticed the sun was starting to set, so we decided to head to my favorite viewpoint. It was a race against time, but against all odds and the horrific traffic. We made it just in time to see the sun leave the city behind. And as the day went from blue to black and the city lights flickered on, I thought about what other cities I could visit next, and if the feeling of community that I'm looking for could possibly be found there. The houses in this neighborhood by this park are literally fucking crazy. Like, they're all so beautiful. This looks like this is the third house.